Hello there you guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and today I'm just be officially updating you on some more current transfer rumours and gossip. So if you do consider drop your likes, and if you do consider subscribe to the channel as always. Lots to negotiate about on this video today, but the first topic of the development I'm going to give you an update on is in regards to Romelu Lukaku. Now according to Sky in Italy, it does say that Inter Milan want Romelu Lukaku on loan for the next 2 seasons. So it does basically say that Inter Milan will offer £9 million to take Lukaku on a 2-year loan, with then the obligation to buy for around £54 million. So obviously that amounts up in total to around 63 million and all that. It remains uncertain whether Manchester United are going to accept this deal and all that. With a small payment up front. With us having to wait a couple of seasons for us to get the majority of the money and all that. So it remains uncertain if Manchester United of course are going to accept this. But we do know it's been relentlessly linked to move to Inter Milan. Obviously we have put a huge transfer fee on Romelu Lukaku, and I think the fee is actually problematic for Inter Milan, because we've said we want £75 million. I think Inter Milan are struggling to generate enough funds to meet that £75 million valuation, because obviously we're looking to recoup the money that we did pay for him from Everton back in 2017, because obviously we got him for £75 million with several add-ons including a deal of £15 million, which did potentially rise it to around £90 million. Obviously as our second most expensive signing, and Lukaku has still got 3 years left on his contract, and he's on around £250,000 a week. But obviously there has been more extensive talks. Like I said, Lukaku's agent, I think on Tuesday, and I think there was also more extensive talks yesterday, but Lukaku's agent was in Milan on Tuesday, having talks with Inter Milan, because obviously Lukaku's agent is obviously working on getting Lukaku's transfer to Inter Milan completed, and Lukaku's agent has confirmed that Lukaku does want to leave Manchester United, and he has confirmed that Inter Milan are still trying to currently sign Romelu Lukaku, because obviously it's Antonio Conte's number one target. Obviously Lukaku came out a couple of weeks ago, and he basically described Antonio Conte as one of the best managers in the world, one of the best managers in the world. And obviously reflecting back a couple of years ago, when Antonio Conte was the manager of Chelsea, he wanted Romelu Lukaku at that point, but obviously he ended up making the move to Manchester United and all that. But yeah, Antonio Conte has identified him as his number one target and all that. So potentially, like I said, he's been relentlessly linked to move to Inter Milan, but I think Manchester United do need to currently get rid of him, because I think now we're on the brink of obviously getting the deal over the line for Bissaka. I think that should be made official today. Obviously we do know that Bissaka is going to be our second signing this summer, and our second signing under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. But I think now the club need to orchestrate on selling players before we can currently buy them again. We need to sell players and generate funds and help rebuild the squad and all that, because a lot of reports came out last week saying that we've only been given £100 million to spend this summer, and it did provide a reason why we've only been given £100 million, because obviously we're not in a Champions League football for next season, and I thought, we're not in Champions League football for next season, and I thought initially, we had been given around £200 million to spend, but we do know £100 million is nowhere near enough, to address the deficiencies in the squad and all that. When we do, fully complete the signing of Bissaka, obviously, that's going to take our net spend to around £68 million on 2 players, because obviously we've already got Daniel James on the board for £18 million. So obviously, that means we're only going to have around £30 million to spend on a central defender, a couple of new additions in that midfield, the right winger, and the striker. We're not going to be able to do that with £32 million, so the club need to orchestrate on selling players of course. But like I said, we need to get rid of Romelu Lukaku, like I said. But I think he's agreed everything with with Inter Milan, except the fee. Like I said, I think Lukaku has agreed the personal terms, like I said. I think he's agreed to deal with them, with around £180,000 a week. Inter Milan are willing to meet his wage demands and all that, but they're just struggling to come to an agreement on a fee. Lukaku has been at Manchester United 2 years. He scored 42 goals in 96 games for the club in all competitions. Like I said, he's been here 2 years. Lukaku was exceptional in his first season, but didn't really replicate that in his second season, because Lukaku is now served his 2 requirements at Manchester United. He was first choice under Mourinho, but since Jose Mourinho departed and Solskjaer got recommended in, Lukaku has found game time very, very difficult, because obviously Rashford is first choice ahead of him, and obviously Lukaku is reluctant to play up a backup role to Marcus Rashford. But Lukaku's 26 years of age. He has still got a lot of years ahead of him and all that, because he is still in his prime. time. But like I said, Inter Milan are struggling to generate enough funds, you know, to fund that £75 million valuation. But I've got strong reservations about Lukaku anyway, even though his pedigree is very good in the Premier League, his ratio is very, very good. You know, I think, you know, his ratio is very good. You know, he's scored a hell of a lot of goals in the Premier League, but you do know the reservations I've got about him. He's too slow, not good enough in the air. You know, he hasn't got that endless potential, not reliable enough, you know, to get enough of them runs in behind him and all that. Can play well, you know, when he's getting that support up front, you know, Lukaku. But I think the club, you know, need to, you know, get rid of him. Whether we're willing to accept Inter Milan's 2-year loan deal offer or not, I do not know. But it did say, you know, there's an obligation to buy at the end of the loan, you know, for around £54 million. So maybe Manchester United, you know, may just accept this, you know, to currently sanction him off. But obviously, you know, we've said, you know, we want around £75 million for him. Obviously, there's been talk signing, you know, Inter Milan have obviously, you know, offered us Mario Icardi in exchange for Romelu Lukaku. Now, obviously, I don't think we was interested in bringing Mario Icardi in, but for me, I think I would like Mario Icardi, you know, to come to Manchester United. You know, he has been at Inter Milan 6 years. Obviously, you know, Inter Milan want to get rid of him, you know, to help them with their wage bill and all that, and obviously, you know, maybe raise some funds for it and all that. This is why basically, you know, Inter Milan want to get rid of him, and he has had 6 good years of Inter Milan. You know, obviously last season enjoyed a difficult time because obviously last season he lost the captaincy, you know, of Inter Milan, and Inter Milan have increasingly, you know, become frustrated with him. His stats are very, very impressive. He scored 111 goals in 188 games for Inter Milan. He's 26 years of age. Obviously hasn't played in the Premier League as yet. He's Inter Milan's 9th highest top goal scorer of all time, and he's obviously spent the majority of his career in Italy. You know, he's been at Inter Milan 6 years. Obviously, before he was at Inter Milan, you know, he was at Sampdoria. Icardi actually, you know, began his professional career with Sampdoria and all that. So I think he'd be a good adequate replacement for Romelu Lukaku. I do believe, you know, he'd bring us them goals that we do need, because that's something we was lacking last season. You know, we was lacking goals, wasn't being ruthless enough in front of goal and all that. So I think Mario Icardi, you know, would be definitely the right solution. You know, Di Marzio, who's an Italian journalist, you know, he broke out the stories a while back. You know, he basically said, you know, Manchester United, you know, could swap Romelu Lukaku for Mario Icardi this summer. But I've got some reservations about Mario Icardi. But the reservation I've got about him, so his defensive contribution concerns me. You know, some of his touches and that concern. But I believe he's got that endless potential. He can score goals and all that. And I think, you know, that would be good enough, you know, for Manchester United if he was to come in and get us them goals whilst he was adapting other areas of his game. You know, that would definitely, you know, be good enough. But there's been quite a few players on our agenda who possibly, you know, could replace Romelu Lukaku. Obviously, Inter Milan have tried offering us Ivan Perisic plus cash for Romelu Lukaku, but obviously Manchester United turned this down because we know Ivan Perisic is no longer a Manchester United target. He was a long-term target under Jose Mourinho and all that, and you know the main factor reason why we didn't get him because you know we wasn't willing to pay up to £48 million for his services at the time, I think a couple of years ago, but he's no longer now a Manchester United target. So maybe I don't know if we're willing to accept Inter Milan's 2-year loan offer or not. I do not know. They're willing to pay a loan fee of £9 million. Then at the end of the loan, there's an obligation to buy it for around £54 million. Obviously, there's been a lot of talks going on. I was reading up yesterday about Ben Yedder from Sevilla. Now, it did say, you know, Manchester United, you know, will make a move for him if Lukaku, you know, does leave the club this summer. Now, Ben Yedder is 28 years of age. I think he's about 5'7". I think he's, you know. I think he's a prolific goal scorer and all that, so you know he's got a really good pedigree. His goal scoring pedigree, you know, is absolutely fantastic with what I've seen of him. He's been at Sevilla 3 years. I think last season for Sevilla he scored 30 goals and provided 11 assists in 54 games last season, so that's very impressive. Like I said, he's 28 years of age, been at Sevilla 3 years. I think Sevilla got him back in 2016 from Toulouse for around, was it £9 million. I think he's got 2 years remaining on his contract with Sevilla. I think his initial release clause is around £35 million, and he did reportedly say Manchester United are willing to trigger that current release clause. Obviously hasn't played in the Premier League as yet. I think his first name's Wissam, his middle name's Ben, and his surname of course is Yedder. So it does say now we have stepped up our interest in, but I don't really know much about him, to be quite honest. But what I've seen of his stats, you know, he can score goals and all that. You know, he can lead the line. You know, that can this Ben Yedder. So it does now say Manchester United are in for him. If Lukaku is to stay at the football club, I don't think, you know, we'll go in for Ben Yedder. I think if Lukaku leaves, you know, we are willing to go in for Ben Yedder and all that. So yeah, there's been a lot of talks about him, So who do you think, should replace Romelu Lukaku at Manchester United? But we do know Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is looking to bring at least 5 new additions to the squad, because obviously, he wants to, full areas, where Manchester United, of course, are lacking, and obviously, you can see the deficiencies in the squad. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to build a squad, worthy of the club's history, and obviously, he's planning to build an ambitious squad. Obviously, we do know Solskjaer has worked out his transfer strategy for this summer. Obviously, he wants to develop a squad of young, hungry, homegrown talent and all that. And quite a few people said, we should be sensible over our recruitment this summer. Quite a few people have said it, and I do believe, we are moving the way for the policy, of signing them well-established players. It's very imperative, that we do try and get, the players that we want this summer. I think it's going to be hard for us, to currently do that, because obviously, we're not in Champions League football for next season, and Champions League football is always very pivotal, when you do want to get your number one targets. But like I said, you can see the deficiencies in the squad, but like I said, we need to see vast improvements, going on into this season, because last season was very disappointing. We finished 6th last season, didn't win any silverware, but we haven't won any silverware in the past couple of seasons. Obviously, we haven't won the league since 2013. Obviously, that was in Alex Ferguson's last season, so that's over 6 years ago now. But I do believe our expectations probably going on into this season probably will be to finish in the top 4 and all that. But I think our aspirations in the next couple of seasons, will be that top 4. If I'm going to be quite honest with you, maybe we may challenge for the league in the next couple of years. But I think we're at least a couple of years off, from winning the league, or even challenging for the league and all that. Because obviously at the moment City is strides ahead of us. Obviously Liverpool and that are strides ahead of us. So it's very imperative that we catch up with the likes of Manchester City and Liverpool. But like I said, I probably expect around 4 or 5 players to leave Manchester United this summer. We do know it's looking very imminent that Darmian and Rojo are going to be leaving the club, so we can generate around 25-30 million pounds, for their departures, because obviously Darmian and Rojo have both endured difficult times at Manchester United. Like I said, if we get rid of Lukaku, permanently, of course, and we do get rid of Paul Pogba, I think we can generate around 200 million pounds there for their current departure. So that's going to help us with our rebuilding process, and of course that's going to help us with our transition and all that. We do know obviously Valencia's leaving the club. We do know Ander Herrera is leaving on a free transfer and all that. But yeah, I heard some on the Manchester Evening News, and it did say when we do get the deal completed for Bissaka, Solskjaer, is targeting 6 more current players. It did currently say, I think, today in the Manchester Evening News. But the one good thing is, it got confirmed yesterday from the BBC, which is a very reliable source. It was coming from David Ornstein. He basically said, Manchester United now have reached an agreement with Crystal Palace to sign Bissaka. Like I said, we are getting him. We have agreed a deal with around £50 million. Obviously, Manchester United are paying £45 million up front, with £5 million in add-ons, which does rise it to around £50 million. And obviously, this is going to actually make him our 5th most expensive signing, of course. And I think that the only players that cost more than him is Pogba, who is obviously our most expensive signing, Lukaku, I think Angel Di Maria and Fred. They're the only players that cost more than Bissaka. And I think the £5 million add-ons are based on the appearances and all that. But reportedly, has agreed a long-term contract with Manchester United as Bissaka. I think he's agreed a 5-year, £80,000 a week contract with an option to extend it by a further year. So in total, it is a 6-year contract. And obviously now Bissaka has got a huge pay rise on his salary. Obviously, he's going to be on 80 grand a week at Manchester United. So he's got around a £70,000 pay rise, because obviously when he was at Crystal Palace, he was only on around £10,000 a week, £10,000 a week. And obviously I think he was Crystal Palace's lowest played player in their first team squad and all that. But like I said, I'm very, very happy about him, coming in. He's set to undergo his medical, I think. But I think, it should be made fully official today. But obviously, Bissaka, did inform, Crystal Palace, that he does want to join Manchester United this summer. But, I'm glad it's over the line now, because obviously, we have been negotiating a fee with Crystal Palace at least for the last 3 weeks. Obviously, we held more extensive talks last weekend. Obviously, we held more extensive talks on Tuesday and all that, and now at last, we have come to an agreement. Obviously, we previously had 2 bids turned down for him, don't forget. Obviously, the last bid we had turned down was £50 million. Manchester United offered £35 million up front with £15 million in add-ons, but obviously Crystal Palace didn't like the structure of the offer. This is why they turned it down, and obviously the first bid we had turned down was £40 million. But like I said, Crystal Palace blatantly made it clear, they wanted around 45 or £50 million up front, and like I said, he is worth £50 million. Obviously, we have seen, full-backs, go go for 50 million. Obviously, we saw it a couple of years ago, you know, with Kyle Walker, you know, he went to Manchester City, you know, for around £50 million. But Bissaka, I do believe he'll address our defensive deficiencies. And I don't think we've had a really good defensive right back, you know, since we had the likes of Gary Neville and all that. Obviously, we had the likes of Raphael Varane. You know, he wasn't bad, but I don't think he was that good, to be quite honest with you. But I do believe he can, you know, serve a decade at Manchester United. You know, can Bissaka. I think he can be our fullback, like I said, for the next decade. You know, he's proven in the Premier League and all that. And like I said, you know, he's so far spent the entirety of his career with Crystal Palace. Obviously, you know, he's been a Crystal Palace player, you know, since the age of 11. Obviously, you know, graduated from their youth system and all that. Initially, when he was young, he was actually, you know, an out-and-out winner, was Bissaka. But obviously, you know, as he was developing, you know, he got reverted as a right-back, you know, due to his tenacity and all that. Obviously, he only broke in Crystal Palace's senior squad in February of last year. And obviously, you know, I think he's made in total 42 senior appearances for Crystal Palace. But, you know, last season, he established himself as first-team regular and all that. And I think reflecting on his impressive performances last season, you know, he won Crystal Palace. He got named Palace's Player of the Year, and he did still have 3 years left on his contract with Crystal Palace. But he is only 21 years of age, like I said, and you know, he's also British, and you know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to recruit British talent to Manchester United this summer. But like I said, it's going to take our net spend up now to around £68 million. So now I think, like I said, the club have got to, you know, orchestrate on, you know, selling players now before we can buy. But Bissaka, like I said, you know, I think his defensive capabilities are very, very good. His defensive capabilities are very, very good. Like I said, he's proven in the Premier League and all that. And you know, I do think, you know, he'll be a fantastic replacement for Antonio Valencia. I think he'll be a fantastic upgrade to Ashley Young. Obviously, Bissaka is obviously now going to be our first choice right back, you know, next season, which I'm very, very happy about. So we're nowhere near going to get us, you know, nowhere near as much exploited as we did last season, because obviously last season Ashley Young, you know, was our first choice right back. But like I said, with Ashley Young, you know, he's a problematic player now. He's too old. He's past his sell-by date. You know, he's 33. He is nearly 34 years of age, and I think it was a bad mistake for Manchester United, you know, giving him a new 1 year extension and all that. But yeah, it'll be a fantastic upgrade to Ashley Young, and I think he'll be a fantastic cover-up for Diego Dalot. And I like Diego Dalot a lot. You know, we only got Diego Dalot last summer for, was it, around £20 million, and you know, Diego Dalot's inexperienced at the moment, like I said. So you know, Diego Dalot, of course, is the upcoming future. So I'm very, very glad, you know, we have got a right back in, because like I said, that was one of the areas where we did need to strengthen up. But I'm still actually, you know, sceptical of us bringing a right winger in. I'm sceptical about Manchester United bringing a right winger in, to be quite honest with you. This means obviously, you know, I don't think, you know, it's, you know, currently, you know, going to happen, to be quite honest with you. But like I said, at one point I was sceptical about Bissaka, you know, coming in, because at one point I didn't think, you know, there was enough credibility in it and all that. But as negotiations were going on and all that, you know, we'd stepped up our interest in him, and you know, then, you know, I was starting to believe what was said and all that, and especially when it's coming from the BBC, you know, which is a very reliable source, you know, saying that we've reached an agreement with Crystal Palace and all that. Obviously, Crystal Palace themselves now are obviously, you know, going to want an adequate replacement for him. Maybe Crystal Palace may now go in for Max Evans from Norwich, but I think actually, you know, Max Evans, Norwich are reluctant, you know, to currently offload Max Evans. I'm very, very hopeful that our third signing this summer is going to be Bruno Fernandes from Sporting Lisbon. Now, as I did give you an update about him in the early hours of this morning, I think I also, you know, updated you yesterday about Bruno Fernandes. It does say Manchester United have met up with his agent yet again, so we've held more extensive talks with his agent over getting a deal secured for Bruno Fernandes. It also says Liverpool are set to meet up with his agent in London, because obviously Liverpool are going to hold further talks with his agent, because we do know that Liverpool are in there for him. Obviously got confirmed last week that Manchester United, you know, had met up with his agent over discussing, you know, Bruno Fernandes' potential switch to Old Trafford this summer, and it also confirmed that Tottenham had met up with his agent last week. I think it was last Wednesday. You know, Tottenham had met up with his agent. Obviously his agent had travelled to London, you know, to have negotiations with Tottenham. I think Tottenham are on the brink of completing around the £60 million deal for Tango Ndombele and all that. But Tottenham have got quite a few players on their agenda, because obviously Tottenham are in the market for a replacement for Christian Eriksen, because he's linked to a move to Real Madrid. Obviously, either way, Tottenham haven't done any transfer activity in the last couple of windows. Obviously, the last player Tottenham signed, you know, was Lucas Moura, you know, back in January, you know, 2018. And like I said, they haven't done any transfer activity in the last couple of windows. So obviously, Mauricio Pochettino is going to want, obviously, you know, back in this summer and all that. But yeah, Tottenham did last week, step up their interest in Bruno Fernandes. But now we have got Bissaka on the board. I think we are obviously now going to step up our interest in Bruno Fernandes, because we did notify Bruno Fernandes' representatives. We need a bit more time. Obviously, we was basically saying, let us focus on getting this deal for Bissaka. Then we will step up our interest in you and all that. So anyway, so I think we have met up with his agent in London. Obviously, I was reading reports the other day, and it did say Manchester United are not willing to pay up to £70 million for his services. I think this is what Sporting Lisbon are currently demanding and all that, but Manchester United are reluctant to pay it. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has instructed Ed Woodward to speed up a deal, to currently sign Bruno Fernandes, but Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did say he wants the deal wrapped up for Bruno Fernandes at the earliest opportunity, but he did say Solskjaer demands Bruno Fernandes' arrival by the 1st of July and all that. But Solskjaer did say last month, he wants the majority of our transfer business done by the 1st of July. I don't think the majority of the transfer business will be done by the 1st of July and all that. But yeah, he just basically said, he wanted the majority of the transfer business done, by time, the players do return for pre-season. But I like Bruno Fernandes a lot, and, he has been one of our main priority targets now for quite some time. He has been on our agenda, for quite some time, and obviously, we've been working on trying to get a deal over the line for him and all that. I think, we only rate him at around £49 million. Obviously, we do know it's been mainly Manchester United and Manchester City that have been battling out for his services. Obviously, we do know it's been Man United and Manchester City that have been battling out for his services. Obviously, it was looking like Manchester City we're going to get a deal concluded for Bruno Fernandes. But obviously, as it did get confirmed a couple of weeks ago, City have pulled out of the race. They've withdrawn their interest now, and since City have pulled out, obviously, Liverpool have entered the race. Tottenham that have entered the race. Obviously, I think Liverpool had come out, was it earlier on last week, saying that Liverpool had put a bid in for him of around €45 million, and that obviously equates to around £40 million in pounds sterling. But obviously, this isn't going to be enough, for the sport, and there's been, to currently offload him and all that. If he was to go to Liverpool, and Liverpool Echo reported a couple of days ago that Liverpool had the heavy favourites, to sign Bruno Fernandes. But if he was to go there, I think he would fit Liverpool's system perfectly. Obviously, Liverpool and that, can offer him Champions League football. Obviously, Liverpool, strides ahead of Manchester United at the moment. But I think at least in the last couple of weeks, we've been considered as the favourites, to get the players' signature. Obviously, this was coming for Bowley, the Portuguese press. But I was reading the Metro yesterday, and they were saying that Bruno Fernandes prefers a move to Manchester United over Tottenham, because he obviously thinks it will be beneficial for his career. And he also did say he's attracted to the history and mystique of Manchester United, Bruno Fernandes. But like I said, I think it would be a fantastic adequate replacement for Paul Pogba. He is primarily an attacking midfielder. He is only 24 years of age and all that. And I do believe if he comes to Manchester United, he'll rejuvenate the team. Wins them goals that we do need in that midfield. He'll have depth, of course, in our midfield. So definitely will be the right solution for Manchester United. I do believe he's got all the attributes to definitely succeed in the Premier League. Bruno Fernandes scored 31 goals, I think, in all competitions last season. How many assists did he get? Did he get around 12 or 13 assists? Don't get me wrong, he hasn't played to the highest level as yet, but he's been at Sporting Lisbon a couple of seasons, so he has tied it up in Portugal really, really well. Obviously, Bruno Fernandes spent the majority of his career in Italy, when he was younger, the likes of Sampdoria and underneath. I think he also was at Novria, and I think he still follows the Italian football, does Bruno Fernandes. Like I said, he was, saying that he still, currently follows it. So hopefully, we can get the deal secured for Bruno Fernandes sometime this week and all that. But he may not come to Manchester United, he may go to Liverpool, of course, you just don't know, do you? To be quite honest with you, but I'm hopeful, he's going to be our third signing this summer, and he will be a fantastic, replacement for Paul Pogba. He's still got 4 years remaining on his contract with Sporting Lisbon. His initial release clause is around £86 million and all that, but it's confirmed Manchester United have held more extensive talks, with Bruno Fernandes' agent and all that. But yeah, definitely will dramatically improve in that midfield, because I think we need about 2 new additions in that midfield, especially if Pogba leaves. We need a replacement for him. Obviously, we're going to need a replacement for Ander Herrera. I think we also need a holding midfielder, because, like I said, we've got the likes of Nemanja Matic. He's too inconsistent. I've got so many reservations about him. He's aging up and he's too slow. For learning left back in January. Obviously, we've got McTominay, but like I said, with McTominay, he's too inexperienced at the moment. But I think we should just pay what Sporting Lisbon are demanding. If I'm going to be honest with you, we should just pay the £60 or £70 million that Sporting Lisbon are demanding, because obviously last summer, you know, we got Fred. You know, we paid, how much did we pay for him? Was it around 50, 52, 50? It might have been. I think it was 50 million, or was it just over 50 million? It was a figure somewhere along them lines. Anyway, but that's what we basically, you know, paid for Fred. And you know, Fred hasn't proven himself at all at Manchester United. Let's be honest, you know, he hasn't got a great pedigree. You know, he was a good player when he was at Shakhtar Donetsk, but he hasn't really replicated this at Manchester United. To be fair to Fred, you know, he didn't really, you know, get the chance. He hasn't really been given, you know, the chances, you know, that he would have liked Fred. But you know, to be fair to Fred, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. You know, towards the back end of last season, you know, he put some good performances in him and all that. You know, he was holding his line, you know, well with Fred, and he was supporting the defence really, really well. But like I said, I still don't know if it's a long-term solution for Manchester United. But you can't put Fred in Bruno Fernandes' calibre. So I think we should just pay what Sporting Lisbon are currently demanding. But like I said, if we can get the deal over the line, you know, for Bruno Fernandes, that will be more fantastic business for Manchester United. But with us getting Bissaka, you know, that's great business by the club and great business by Ed Woodward. So I will praise Ed Woodward for that. Like I've been updating you know, in regards to Paul Pogba, now we do know he's been relentlessly, you know, linked to move away from Manchester United. Now I think there has been a change of scenery because obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to sell. Obviously now wants to sell Paul Pogba, not because he doesn't think he's a talented player or he's not reflecting on his overall behaviour. You know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer basically just wants to sell him to help the club raise funds and obviously, you know, rebuild the squad and all that. So potentially he's been relentlessly linked to a move to Real Madrid. He's been, you know, obviously he's also been heavily linked to a move to Juventus. Obviously Paul Pogba did confirm a couple of weeks back. He obviously, you know, did confirm Paul Pogba. You know, he'd notified reporters in Tokyo saying that he's seeking for a new challenger and all that. You know, he wants to rejuvenate his career, and he did say, you know, he publicly wants to leave Manchester United for the first time. He was willing to sub a transfer request. It did say if that didn't work, he was even willing to go on strike, you know, to force a move away from Old Trafford and all that. But yeah, like I said, you know, Real Madrid and Juventus are battling out for his services, but it's been coming out at least in the last couple of weeks, you know, saying that Juventus are interested in re-signing him. Potentially confirmed the other week that the Juventus director had travelled to London, you know, to hold negotiations with Manchester United. Over the possibility of re-signing Paul Pogba. It also confirmed that Juventus have been in negotiations with his agent Raiola. But you know what, I think Juventus probably would have to offload at least one or two of their essential players to fund the move for Paul Pogba, because obviously you know we put a huge transfer fee on him and all that. Obviously Juventus are doing good business in this window so far. Obviously, you know, they've already got Aaron Ramsey on the board on a free transfer. It's looking like they're going to get Adrian Rabiot, or if they already got Adrian Rabiot, I do not know. It's looking like, you know, they're going to get Matisse de Ligt for Marks and all that. So they are doing good business this summer. But I think Juventus would probably have to offload a couple of their players to fund the move for Paul Pogba. But I think Paul Pogba's actually now made a decision on his future, and I think he's keen on making the return back to Turin, because Paul Pogba did have 4 good years in Turin. You know, he exceeded expectation levels and all that. He did really, really well, but he hasn't really replicated this form, you know, since he did make the return to Old Trafford. You know, obviously, you know, we paid £89 million for him, but the Juventus director was explaining, you know, of how much, you know, Juventus love Paul Pogba. But yeah, and Real Madrid are obviously, I still believe Real Madrid are definitely, you know, in there for them. Obviously, you know, Real Madrid are reluctant, you know, to pay up to 150 million, because initially, you know, we've indicated that Paul Pogba is not for sale, but he said we would accept a bid in the region of around 150 million pounds. It's been initially in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's plans, you know, to actually, you know, build a side around Paul Pogba, but Real Madrid won't pay up to 150 million pounds for him. But obviously Real Madrid so far have done good business. You know, they've got 5 players on the board so far this summer. I think they've spent nearly £300 million pounds. I do believe also Christian Eriksen is on Real Madrid's agenda, and obviously Christian Eriksen probably would be a cheaper solution for Real Madrid than Paul Pogba and all that. But I think, you know, Zinedine Zidane's still keen on getting a deal over the line. Obviously got confirmed a couple of weeks ago saying that Real Madrid were willing to offer his Gareth Bale in the transfer offer for Paul Pogba. But yeah, you know, we said, you know, want around 150 million pounds for him. Obviously, a lot of reports were coming out last week, you know, saying that, you know, we was willing to offer Paul Pogba a long-term contract worth up to £500,000 a week. Obviously, Paul Pogba in his current deal at the moment is on around 290 grand a week, so he will get a £200,000 pay rise, and he's got 2 years left on his current deal with an option to extend it by a further year and all that. But he came out about 3 or 4 weeks ago saying that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was willing to offer Paul Pogba the captaincy in a bid to convince him to remain at the football club up, because they did build a great relationship with, you know, Paul Pogba and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because Solskjaer knows him really, really well, because, you know, he watched some of this team in this day and age, you know, grow and develop when he was managing the Manchester United reserve team, and obviously, you know, one of them was Paul Pogba, so they have built a great relationship up. But obviously recent reports have said, you know, Paul Pogba and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's relationship is slowly fading and all that. But Paul Pogba's agent, Raiola, you know, at least in the last couple of months, has been working on, you know, trying to find Paul Pogba a new club and all that. Paul Pogba was subject to a lot of transfer speculation last year, you know, based on his poor relationship with Jose Mourinho. Obviously, you know, there was talks about him going to Juventus last year. There was also talks about, you know, going to Barcelona back in January. Paul Pogba got one of his best wishes when Jose Mourinho, you know, left the club. Obviously, he didn't get on with Jose Mourinho and all that. Obviously, you know, Paul Pogba at the club has won, you know, the Europa League and the League Cup. That came in his second season with Manchester United. But I think he did well last season. You know, he scored 16 goals, provided 11 assists in like 40 odd games in all competitions and all that. But yeah, I think Manchester United, you know, do, you know, need to currently offloading. So the rumours are still continuing to persist. But I think, you know, he could end up, you know, making the return back to Cherven. He's 26 years of age. He's in his prime. You know, he has still got a lot of years ahead of him and all that. But like I said, the couple of main factors why he probably wants to leave, because maybe he wants to be playing amongst better players. He isn't getting this at Manchester United. Maybe he wants to be in Champions League football, wants to be winning silverware and all that. And, you know, he's just not experiencing this at Manchester United. So maybe he's frustrated with lack of competitiveness. But like I said, I think Bruno Fernandes, you know, would be the good adequate replacement for him. A lot of people would like to see James Maddison coming as a replacement for Paul Pogba. Now, there has been a lot of talks going on about James Maddison. Obviously, you know, he's one of our targets. I think the vast majority of Manchester United fans, including myself, you know, would like James Maddison, you know, to get recommended to come in. He is only very, very young, 22 years of age. He is a British, of course. He's primarily an attacking midfielder. Obviously, he's had a year of experience under his belt in the Premier League. Last season was his debut season in the Premier League for Leicester. I think he played about 36 games, scored 7 goals, provided 7 assists, so he was involved in 14 goals. And James Maddison also created more chances than any other player in the Premier League, you know, last season. Obviously, you know, Leicester got him last summer from Norwich for around £20 million, and I think he signed a 5-year deal. But obviously, he's got 4 years left now on his contract with Leicester, and he did have a good couple of seasons in the Championship, you know, with Norwich. I think quite a few teams have been tracking him, you know, since he was a teenager at Coventry, because obviously, you know, he did this. That's obviously, you know, where James Maddison began his career, Coventry and all that. I think he also had a loan spell in Scotland, you know, with Aberdeen. But yeah, he did really, really well last season. I think he did allegedly say, you know, that James Maddison, you know, wants to meet up with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer because he's allegedly interested in the move to Manchester United. Reports came out about this about 4 weeks ago, saying, you know, we emerged him as a priority target. He said, you know, he said if Leicester were willing to sell him this summer, you know, they would want around £60 million. And he did say, you know, Manchester United had made initial contact and all that over in potentially, you know, making a switch to Old Trafford. And he did say he was keen on making the move, but he did also say he's got reservations about joining Manchester United because obviously, you know, we're not in a Champions League football for next season. But very good player, can score goals, can provide, you know, really good at creating chances as he did prove last season. And even if he doesn't leave Leicester this summer, obviously at some point in his career, you know, he's going to rejuvenate his career, of course, take his footballing career to the next level. So I like James Maddison a lot. I know maybe some Manchester United fans, you know, would like to see, you know, Youri Tielemans, you know, come in. Some Manchester United fans probably, you know, would like to see Youri Tielemans coming because he's only 22 years of age. I think he's mainly a box-to-box midfielder and all that. I think again, you know, he would be a good replacement for Paul Pogba. Youri Tielemans is proven in the Premier League. Obviously, he's had about 5 or 6 months of experience under his belt in the Premier League because obviously, you know, he had been on loan with Leicester, you know, since January and all that. Obviously, he's no longer on loan with Leicester now. Obviously, he has returned to Monaco, but I think Youri Tielemans did confirm, you know, he will not be staying there with Monaco next season and all that. But quite a few teams have been in there for Youri Tielemans. I think Tottenham have been in there for him. Also Manchester City have been in there for him. I think Arsenal, you know, were linked to him about, was it 5 or 6 weeks ago. But I think actually, you know, Leicester have now stepped up their interest in him, and Leicester are keen on getting him on a permanent deal because Youri Tielemans was pivotal in Leicester's transformation under Brendan Rodgers. But Leicester are keen on getting him on a permanent deal. They're keen on getting him on a permanent deal and all that because I think it's initially in Ole Gunnar Brendan Rodgers, it's in Leicester's plans, to actually, partner up, Youri Tillmans alongside James Maddison in their midfield, because obviously, Leicester, do believe, they'll complement each other very, very well in their midfield, and they'll blend in, really, really well together. But Youri Tillmans is rated at around £40 million, so he's available for a reasonable figure. He's under contract with Monaco till 2022. I think initially Monaco got him a couple of years ago from Anderlecht. I think Monaco, paid him around £21 million for his services. But I think also Manchester United, were tracking Youri Tillmans when he was at Anderlecht. But it come out a couple of weeks ago saying that we kindled our interest in him, and he did basically say, we'd been in negotiation with his agent over possibly, getting a deal concluded for him and all that. But I do, what I've seen of Youri Tillmans, he looks a pretty decent midfielder. Obviously, like I said, with Sean Longstaff from Newcastle, reports came out, was it a week or two ago now, saying that Manchester United are close to completing a deal for Sean Longstaff for around £25 million and all that. Probably isn't, obviously, our first choice, midfielder to get in and all that. But, Sean Longstaff is only 21 years of age and all that. So I think Manchester United are probably, going to end up, well, I think it did say, we're close to agreeing around the £25 million deal for him the other week. Obviously last season was his first season in the senior squad with Newcastle. Obviously didn't play the remainder of in the last couple of months of last season due to that he sustained a knee ligament injury, back in March and all that. He's also had loan spells with Kilmarnock and Blackpool and all that, but he actually began his career with Newcastle, the Sean Longstaff. So obviously it says Manchester United are obviously in for him. I think he's mainly a box-to-box midfielder and all that. But yeah, there has been, so many midfielders on our current agenda. Obviously, Giovanni Lo Celso from Real Betis, we're reading reports about him the other week, and he did say, Manchester United have been in there for him. It also said Tottenham have been in for him, and I think it confirmed, was it about 3 weeks ago now, that from Giovanni Lo Celso's preference, he actually wants to make the move to Tottenham. I haven't read much up about him, lately, but he did say, it was one of Tottenham's priority targets and all that. He did report out last month, saying that Tottenham had obviously, lodged a bidding for him of around £53 million, but obviously, Real Betis had currently turned this down, because I think Real Betis are looking for somewhere in the region of around £70 or £80 million if they are willing to offload him. Giovanni Lo Celso is 23 years of age. He's Argentinian. Like I said, I think he's primarily a central midfielder. Last season was his first season with Real Betis. I think obviously he spent the majority of last season on loan with Real Betis, because Real Betis got him last summer from PSG. Obviously Real Betis did get him permanently. They got him permanently back in April, and I think they paid around £20 million to get him permanently and all that. And if Real Betis do sell him, obviously PSG do benefit from it, because obviously they get a percentage of any profit and all that, and I think the percentage is around 20%. And I think his initial release clause is around £88 million is Giovanni Lo Celso. So it does say Manchester United that have been in for him. Obviously Tottenham have been in there for him. So do you think he would be a good replacement for Paul Pogba? But yeah, there's been so many midfielders on our current agenda. As I have been updating you with in regards to Jadon Sancho, obviously as he did speculate out a couple of days ago, this was actually stemming from Forbes and all that, and then obviously it was circulating around more media outlets, saying that we could rekindle our interest in Jadon Sancho. We could rekindle our interest in Jadon Sancho on one condition, and that is if Paul Pogba leaves Manchester United this summer, which is expected. So basically the club are orchestrating on selling Pogba, generating the funds from his departure, and then putting them funds on Jadon Sancho. But I don't think Jadon Sancho will be coming anywhere. And like I said, I think we thought our hopes of winning Jadon Sancho chance win have obviously come to an end, because obviously we're not in a Champions League football for next season. But Jadon Sancho was the club's top priority target for some time and all that. He was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's top priority target back in the January transfer window. Obviously Borussia Dortmund rate him at around £100 million. That's their valuation, but Manchester United were willing to meet that £100 million valuation, because obviously we've got the financial power to currently meet that. But I think Jadon Sancho has confirmed from his own perspective, he's set to remain loyal to Borussia Dortmund at least for another season, and I think Borussia Dortmund have confirmed that he's still in their plans. Solskjaer was excited about the prospect of bringing Jadon Sancho in. He's excited about the prospect of bringing Jadon Sancho in, to link up the likes of Rashford and Martial, and I think he would have blended in our attacking line really, really well. And Jadon Sancho has been at Borussia Dortmund a couple of seasons. Obviously, I think if he did come back to the Premier League, it would rejuvenate his career, obviously. take his footballing career to the next level. I think it would help him with his developing process, and it would create a better platform, for Jadon Sancho. Obviously, he's a former Manchester City player. He had a couple of years with them in their youth academy. Obviously, never broke into Manchester City's first team, and due to regular game time and all that, and obviously wasn't guaranteed game time. This is the main factor reason why he did leave Manchester City, and of course went to Borussia Dortmund. I think he initially began his career with Watford when he was younger. He is still only 19 years of age. Jadon Sancho, of course, he is British, and he's primarily a winner. He's under contract with Borussia Dortmund until 2022. Borussia Dortmund did get him for just around £8 million, but I think Borussia Dortmund do know how much of an imperative player he is. But like I said, there has been quite a few wingers on our current agenda, like I said. Because we've got to recommend a right winger to come in. Obviously, Jadon Sancho, would be an obvious one, but obviously we do know he's not going to be coming in, probably not anywhere. Obviously, there's been talks of Nicolas Pepe. Again, he's the obvious candidate for the right wing for Manchester United. He's been subject to a hell of a lot of transfer speculation as Nicolas Pepe. He's been subject to a hell of a lot of transfer speculation because so many teams have been in there for him. But I was reading recent reports yesterday, and they were saying now Liverpool are no longer interested in Nicolas Pepe, as Liverpool have confirmed this, because it has been speculated saying that Liverpool and that have been in for him, but so many teams have been in for him. But obviously the little chairman he made this admission about, was it 5 or 6 weeks ago, and he confirmed that Nicolas Pepe will be leaving Lille this summer, but obviously they don't know where they don't basically know where he will be applying his trade next season. I think Lille rate him at around £70 million and all that, but Manchester United have been in for him. He did say from the Sun the other day we're willing to go back in for him. Liverpool have been in for him. Arsenal have been in for him since January. Bayern Munich have been in for him because Bayern Munich are looking for a replacement for Arjen Robben and Frank Ribery. I think PSG have also been in for him. Who else has been in for him? Or now Inter Milan are in for him. I think Inter Milan and Atletico Madrid are the two teams to be considered the favourites now to get the player's signature, because I think Inter Milan are planning to put around an £80 million bid in for him. But so many teams have been in there, for Nicolas Pepe. But Duncan Castles came out about, was it 4 weeks ago now? He said Manchester United made initial contact over the possibility of signing Nicolas Pepe. He also said Liverpool had been in negotiations with his agent and all that. But very, very good player, only 24 years of age. And I think if he did come to the Premier League, Nicolas Pepe, he would rejuvenate his career, it would be the next step for him and all that. But I do believe he's definitely got all the attributes, to succeed in the Premier League. Like I said, he's primarily a winner. He's been at Lille a couple of seasons. He's scored 37 goals in 79 appearances in all competitions. He's still got 3 years left on his contract with Lille. Last season, he was the revelation for Lille. He scored 22 goals and provided 11 assists and all that. But so far, he has actually spent the majority of his career in France. So I do like Nicolas Pepe a lot, and I would love the prospect of linking up Nicolas Pepe up with the likes of Martial and Rashford in our attacking line, but I don't see Nicolas Pepe coming to Manchester United. According to recent reports, I think Inter Milan or Atletico Madrid, will probably get a deal more of the line for him. But Lille said, they do want around £70 million for him. But yeah, as I said, quite a few teams have been in there for him. But don't get me wrong, I think the likes of Jadon Sancho, Nicolas Pepe, would be a much better solution than Gareth Bale. Don't get me wrong. But like I said, I'm still sceptical of us, bringing a right winner in. Alexis Sanchez, there's still a possibility to challenge. He could be, continue playing. He could still continue playing his trade with Manchester United, next season. Alexis Sanchez, because I think Manchester United are really, really struggling, to get rid of Alexis Sanchez. Based on his substantial wages. I think it's going to be very difficult, for the club to get rid of him, especially permanently, based on his substantial wages, because Sanchez is on £400,000 a week, potentially rising up to £500,000 a week, based on the image rights and the bonuses and all that. It mounts up to around £500,000 a week, and like I said, his wages are having a really bad effect on the football club. Sanchez has been here, since January 2018. Obviously, we got him as part of a swap deal with Mickey Tari and all that, but Sanchez hasn't been the fundamental player as we all thought he would have been. Before he came to United, he had 4 good years there with Arsenal. He even played under Pep Guardiola's guidance when he was younger at Barcelona, and he flourished under his guidance. And Sanchez just hasn't replicated this at Manchester United, so he has been a disappointment. He has no future at the club now anyway. He's 30, I think, or is he 31 now? He has lost that yard of pace and all that, and he's obviously become injury prone. Since he's become a Manchester United player. I think the only way we can sanction Alexis Sanchez off is if we sanction him off on a long season loan, and Manchester United United, you know, come to some kind of agreement of paying half of his wages. Of course, you know, I don't think any team, you know, can currently, you know, afford Alexis Sanchez. So I think it's very imperative, you know, that we do currently get rid of him. It'll also help us with our wage bill, you know, getting rid of Alexis Sanchez. Like I said, we do know now De Gea's staying at the club. We also know now that Juan Mata is staying at the club. Obviously, you know, that's currently guaranteed. And like I said, you know, Smalling and Jones probably going to be here next season, but I don't think they should be, because obviously now the two inconsistent. Obviously, you know, Smalling's been here 9 years, Jones has been here 8 years, of course, and you know, they've been 2 long-term players at the club. It was a bad mistake for Manchester United, you know, giving them 2 new long-term contracts and all that. And plus, you know, they are both aging up, so I think, you know, we definitely, you know, need a central defender. You know, someone that can complement Victor Lindelof in our back line and all that. But like I said, I'm very, very happy, you know, with Bissaka, you know, coming. Should be made official today. Might even be made official now, you know, while I'm talking to him on this video. I will go look a bit more up about it to see if it has been made official. But yeah, guys, that's mainly everything to update you with. So the main part of this video was to give you the latest news about Romelu Lukaku. Sky in Italy have said Inter Milan want Lukaku on loan for the next 2 seasons. Inter Milan will offer £9 million to take Lukaku on a 2-year loan, with then the obligation to buy for around £54 million. So it remains uncertain whether Manchester United are willing to accept this or not. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do consider subscribe, as always, and take care, God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.